Hello everyone, TMR here, and today I am going to be doing a review of the short story Dance of the Dead by Richard Matheson. I discovered Dance of the Dead by accident because I purchased this copy of I Am Legend to read, and I didn't realize that a bunch of Richard Matheson's short stories were included after. So Dance of the Dead is a short story written in 1954 by Richard Matheson, who is most known for being the author of I Am Legend. The story is 19 pages long and revolves around 4 college students going out for a night on the town in post-apocalyptic 1997 St. Louis. The story begins with 4 college students, Len, Bud, Barbara, and Peggy, driving to a club in post-World War III 1997. They are racing along at speeds topping 130 miles per hour, and they're all laughing and having a good time, except for Peggy. Peggy is a college freshman who just moved to St. Louis from Sykesville, Maryland, to start school. Now right away, Peggy is offered a syringe of the drug Muscle Tussle, which is slang for drugs you inject into your muscles. And they became popular after the conclusion of World War III. Peggy does not want to do the drug, despite constant peer pressure from her friends, and she's also resistant to Bud, who's trying to feel her up while he drives. Now throughout the story, Peggy constantly remembers advice her parents gave her before she left for St. Louis. The first instance of this is when she remembers her parents pleading with her to be careful before she left, because she's all that they have left in the world. Right away, Matheson has created a feeling of anxiety for the reader. You can feel that Peggy is just a mild-mannered small-town girl who is quickly caught up in the dirtiness of a big bad city. The drugs, the premarital sex between Barbara and Len in the back seat, and the speeding are all things that are taboo in 1950s America, which is when the story was written. So while they're driving, Bud asks Peggy if she's ever seen the Loopies dance, and which she has not. They excitedly decide that she has to see it, and she hasn't lived until she's experienced it. Now the Loopies dance is something that Peggy has heard about and read about, but something she actually thought she would never see with her own 2 eyes. Here's another instance of Peggy remembering her parents' advice before she left, where she thinks how they told her to choose her friends carefully, to be very careful. And it's mentioned that she only hung out with these people because she'd been in St. Louis for 2 months and was very lonely because nobody had talked to her. She also remembers her parents reminding her that there are terrible things in the world today, things that she must avoid in the fallout of World War III. So they eventually arrive at their destination, a club which is in ruins. And it's described as a dirty place that is dark, hot, and smoky. There are people packed in there, and they're grinding on each other, and there's futuristic, post-apocalyptic 1997 music blasting, which is described by Matheson as a frenzy of twisted dissonances. The partygoers are all screaming a song about abusive, animalistic sex, and someone even gropes Peggy. She feels a dozen eyes on her, and she feels like the eyes are disrobing and abusing her. So again, this place is just the anti-1950s values. So then Bud tells Peggy, "Nothing like this in Sykesville, huh?" And again, this just reinforces the good girl caught in a bad situation plot point. It really makes the reader feel like damn, I wish she stayed home, safe with her parents. Her parents even pleaded with her to stay and go to the local college, but she wanted to leave home and study art in St. Louis. So they get seats right near the stage for the show, and a waitress comes to take their drinks. Now, despite Peggy trying to order a ginger ale, she gets an alcoholic drink called the Green Swamp. Again, Peggy remembers advice her parents gave her before she left, which was pleading with her not to drink if she goes out on a date. Peggy is terrified to drink, but her friends basically force it down her throat. And the whole time that's happening, Bud is still pawing at her and refusing to let her leave the table. Now, this drink is no 1950s alcohol. It's post-apocalyptic 1997 Green Swamp alcohol, and it messes her up big time. At this point, she's begging for her mother to take her home, and she wants out ASAP. But the sad truth is she's not going anywhere, and it's time for the Dance of the Loopy. The Dance of the Loopy is an act that's described as not for the faint of heart or the weak-willed. It's classified as a scientific experiment to remain legal, but the 1997 government was feeble and pretty much useless anyway. Now, as a reader, this really gave me the feeling of being trapped, just like Peggy is in this situation. Music starts playing to an empty stage, and when Peggy finally musters up the courage to look up, she sees it standing there. And it refers to what had once been a woman. The corpse standing on stage has skin that is white as snow, and she's slouched over, wearing a transparent dress. Her skin is scaly and she has long, dirty hair covering her face. Eventually, the corpse starts twisting and jerking. Body parts are contracting, extending, and snapping, and flopping around. The body starts convulsing. Once the legs start going, it actually starts walking along the stage. At this point, Peggy is paralyzed by fear and the face of the Loopy, which is spazzing out, as well as winking and opening its mouth. The body is twisting and convulsing around, and then starts spazzing towards the front of the stage, a place where it's not supposed to go. It's banging into the guardrail right in front of Peggy's table when it horrifyingly flips over and lands on Peggy's table. It flops around like a new-caught fish and even slaps Peggy in the face with its cold, dead hand and has its glossed-over eyes staring into hers. Everyone in the room had a big laugh at this, except Peggy, who passed out of fear and eventually wakes up back in the car with her friends. Peggy now starts drinking to relax and is now okay with Bud trying to feel her up. It looks like dirty 1997 St. Louis has corrupted her, and the old Peggy is gone. She's drugged up by alcohol to accept the world she lives in, which is just like her friends. So at the end, we get a definition of LUP, which is what Loopy is slang for, and it stands for Lifeless Undead Phenomenon. It was discovered during World War III following the use of germ gas when many dead troops were found standing in the battlefield and lurching and convulsing around. And that is Dance of the Dead by Richard Matheson. I thought Matheson did a great job of painting a picture with his words of a world that is dangerous and grimy, a post-apocalyptic world that saw all morals and family values go out the window. I thought it was fantastic the way Matheson made the reader feel the anxiety of an innocent small-town girl suddenly put in a spot where she is all alone and far from home and just surrounded by filth. She wants to be taken home by her mother, and she wishes she never left, but it's too late. Also, I thought the plot was great. The dance of the Loopy was very creepy and unsettling. It felt like I was in this disgusting club, and I wanted to take a shower after reading this story. I think Matheson also played on many fears Americans had about the Cold War at this time, and used that to his advantage by creating a post-World War III dystopian America. Overall, I'm going to give Dance of the Dead by Richard Matheson an A. It's a real quick read, and one I think that's perfect for Halloween time, and one that I think is very underrated and not known about much. Thank you for tuning in to my review of the 1950s horror short story Dance of the Dead by Richard Matheson. If you've read the story or have an opinion on the story, I would love for you to leave a comment down below. And I just want to say thank you for sharing your time with me, and I'll see you next time.